Hey, football fans, this is Mel Kiper Jr. On the latest First Draft podcast, Todd McShay and I identify a crisis which must be dealt with in the world of football. Find out what it is when you subscribe to the show in the Listen tab of the ESPN app.
Chris Bryant started it with his first homer facing an 0-2 count all season, and Addison Russell finished it first with 2 RBIs thanks to 2 Indians thinking the other guy had it. And then with a grand slam in the third, that made him the second youngest behind Mickey Mantle to hit a World Series slam. In an attempt to slam the door on the Indians' comeback in the 7th, Joe Madden gave the ball back to Aroldis Chapman for 20 pitches 2 days after he threw 42 in Game 5, a decision for which Madden was slammed by Negative Twitter. Negative Twitter needs to log off and lay off Joe Madden because you don't manage for tomorrow, as in today. You manage a road elimination game like there is no tomorrow. Yes, even with a 5-run lead. And there's LeBron James giving advice on how to handle Game 7 for the Indians, except LeBron was on the other side of coming back from a 3-1 deficit, whereas the Indians are on the side of possibly blowing a 3-1 deficit. Moving on to tonight, if you will. Do you have anything to say about last night? Because to me, it's all about tonight. You got any comments on Madden's decision first?
Okay. Look, we're of like minds of the Aroldis Chapman decision. I'm with you. Like, you can't. I understood why he brought him in because what you don't want to do is bring him in a more, I guess, a more vulnerable situation than the one he came in.
He lost a 7-run lead, I believe, in 08. When he was with Tampa against the Red Sox.
Now,
you nipped this in the bud.
Bringing him back in the ninth, I quirked my eyebrow a little bit. But again, at this point, I'm sorry, you can't worry about feelings. You can't worry about whether or not people think you do or don't trust your bullpen. You have to go with what you know to be true. And what we know to be true is that Aroldis Chapman can toss that thing.
You better put that fire out before it starts.
I agree. So
and now here we are.
And then, you're in Game 7, so that leads into tonight. So, and you have all your hands on deck, so it really becomes a moot issue. Everybody's available.
Exactly. And there's so much on the line. So, before this series started, I said I was rooting for Cleveland because I wanted to see Cleveland get 2 championships in the same season, right? And then when they got 3-1 and the Cubs started coming back, I was like, oh, man, am I rooting for this comeback? Now I realize why I'm so conflicted when it comes to this series. Because I'm more concerned about the fan base and the team and the franchise that loses tonight than I am about the one that wins it. To me, this is about somebody is going to be so sick. My heart preemptively goes out to the fans of whichever franchise loses tonight. Getting this close
you got this
and
wrong,
lose it.
Mike. You got this all wrong. See, you want it to be one way and it's the other way. All right?
Okay.
I'm more focused on the winner. Because either way, we're going to get a great story. Yes, I picked the Cubs.
A great story if you win.
To win. Look, it's disappointing, yes. Somebody's going to leave brokenhearted to some degree.
Yes.
But I think there's different types of disappointment, if you will. I'll say this. Speaking as someone who sat in the bitter cold as the Tigers basically got broomed by the Giants, trying to stay warm with bourbon, okay? I would much rather be in this position than to feel like my team didn't even belong there. So either way, look, I know we don't give out participation trophies.
That's what it sounds like you're doing.
I get that, and I know it may take a few days for whoever loses tonight to have some rational perspective about what happened. But when it's Game 7, and when you've seen how evenly matched in many ways these two teams are, you cannot blame yourself or blame a curse or blame whatever for being in the Game 7.
Some supernatural powers or anything like that. But you're talking about your Tigers fandom and getting swept against the Giants. That ain't the same ballpark. It ain't the same league. It is the same sport.
It is a ballpark, though.
But that ain't the same thing. I'm sorry. If you were, okay, let's look at it from both perspectives. You're the Cubs. Your mantra this postseason has not been it might happen or it almost happened. It is happening.
Okay, well,
how many years have been saying wait until next year?
Okay, but they had 2 streaks they were trying to break at the same time. That was merely just getting to the World Series, which was an accomplishment in itself.
Which I said, they do give an independence, but I'm not giving a participation trophy for the World Series.
And then winning it all, okay? And
they take solace in that. So, and if you're the Indians, you were up 3-1. You were up 3-1 with home field advantage, and you about to lose possibly Game 6 and 7 at the crib.
But you were up 3-1 against a team that won 100 games for crying out loud.
That doesn't matter. You won 3 of the first 4. Nobody comes back from down 3-1 on the road since what? 79, the Pirates. So either way, somebody's going to want to take off from work tomorrow. Whoever wins is going to be more relieved
that might have
than
been
jubilant.
happening either way. But.
Either way. But it's going to be a while before you recover from a loss like this. To me, if I were a fan, I'd much rather get smoked. I'd much rather get swept than to be teased. Don't tease me. I want all or nothing. Don't have me get this close and taste it. Get a little sip of a World Series champagne.
Mouth all watered up. No, Mike, that's wrong, because like what you don't want to feel like is if you don't belong. When it was Alabama and Michigan State, bringing it all again back to me, Alabama crushed and rolled us and left us for dead. That was a sick feeling, because then you feel like I didn't even belong here. I didn't even deserve to be here.
You didn't.
I'm just saying, ignore your trolling right now.
Maybe you didn't. You were in the same class.
The whole point is that you don't want to feel like you're not in the same class. You want to feel like, okay,
they know
we
they're in
gave
the
it all
same
we
class.
had.
I don't want to get close and then have it snatched away.
Well,
no, that's
so
I can't. I cannot.
You'll feel like you lost the lead for sure. But it's not like you're going against chopped liver here, all right?
Look, man, tomorrow ain't promised, let alone next year.
And that's how Joe Madden managed this game. So kudos to him. Staying in Cleveland. So the Cavs moved to 4-0 after beating the Rockets last night, in part because of Kyrie Irving's 32 points, 11 assists. By the way, 11 of those points came in the fourth quarter. Now, right now, Kyrie is averaging nearly 27 points a night, which prompted his teammate, LeBron James, also had a good game last night, to strongly endorse Kyrie for MVP. Why not, he said. His ability to lead a team and his ability to score and get guys involved, we're going to continue to improve as a team. We're going to be right up there with the league leaders in wins. So why not?
Why not? I'll tell you why not.
Yeah, why not?
You're looking at him. See, that's strong leadership right there. Every now and then, what you got to do, you gave him tough love last year, subtweeted him, criticized him, broke, certain habits when he got to Cleveland, and certain bad basketball habits.
He's nurtured him along.
Yeah, so now you give him something to work toward. You build him up. You build his confidence, but let's be realistic. Kyrie had the MVP of his own team. So he could be MVP of the league this year. He's 24. He'll have some MVPs down the road, perhaps. But this year?
I don't see him winning it this year. Okay, I don't. But what LeBron was suggesting is not necessarily out of the realm of possibility.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Only from this standpoint, Kyrie could be the rare teammate that actually outscores LeBron. We're used to
making most valuable.
No, it doesn't necessarily. But I think Kyrie, when he hit that Game 7 dagger, all right, against Golden State on their momentous comeback, that changed a lot of the narratives about him, as did all of last season.
Oh, you mean when he got that NBA Finals MVP? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That went to LeBron, too.
That went to LeBron as well.
Come on now. Look,
I'm not pretending that he's the MVP of his own.
How you going to be the MVP of the league if you're the MVP of the Cavs?
Okay, this is the difference, though, Mike. I do think that people carry a different level of respect for Kyrie Irving. It would not surprise me if a few bold writers gave him some MVP votes. We know, look at the tear he's on.
First place MVP votes?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, you mean on the ballot?
I would not be surprised.
I would be shocked if somebody got that cute. Okay, well, first of all, he's on a team with LeBron. And let me make sure I got this right. We won't vote for KD or Steph Curry because of KD and Steph Curry, respectively. You won't vote for them. Well, name me a season in which Michael Jordan played that Scottie Pippen would have ever been the MVP.
I don't know if the relationship is seen quite the same. I think Kyrie's age has something to do with the fact he's 24, the fact that a lot of people regard him as the best scoring guard in the league. With KD and Steph, it's different. Look, playoff reputations, even though the MVP is a regular season award, they have a way of changing how people see people, all right? Steph's narrative has changed. Let's all admit that. The Warriors in themselves, their narrative has changed just by KD going there. People see them as, oh, that's unfair, or why all these guys have to team up together. There's already an anti-Warrior sentiment out there.
Same as LeBron experienced when he went to the Heat.
Look, I don't care what Steph averages this year. What he does, he could duplicate last year. He's not getting MVP.
Right.
That's probably not happening, right?
Right.
Okay. So you move on from that. You have a pretty wide open field.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm amused at how your tune has changed on two fronts. First of all, since I remember everything you say, because unlike you, I listen to you. You don't listen. I remember everything you say. It wasn't that long ago when you sung to Kyrie Irving on this show, basically snatched his soul, and now you want to put him in the MVP race. Along those same lines, I believe it was 2 years ago when I had a different MVP frontrunner every other day. You wanted to clown me.
Yeah, because yours didn't make any sense.
Okay, and now you making sense?
Okay, Mike, is this not a wide open MVP field?
And Kyrie ain't in it. You might as well put
He's not in the field at all?
Jamel, at this point, you might as well put an ad in the paper. You're going to get everybody. How you going to be the MVP in the league where Russell Westbrook just had a 50-point triple-double, has had back-to-back triple-doubles? I believe in
that was my pick for MVP, as you know.
Then you got Kawhi Leonard doing work on both ends of the court. And I don't know if you saw last night when he sat up there faking the whole team out with his passing.
With that great pass.
Okay, yeah. James Harden, let me go down the list. James Harden just had the first 40, 15 assists, 5 rebound game in Rockets history, okay, and averaging 32 and 12. If the Rockets make the playoffs, he's obviously at the front of the conversation. Dame, who for a rapper is a hell of a basketball player. CP3 and Blake, PG-13. Everybody can be in an MVP conversation. It's okay to be a fantastic young player who is vital to the Cavs' success. It can stop there. We ain't got to put everybody in the MVP conversation, as a wise woman once told me.
No, we do not have to, but just, you know, your fellow sports writer brethren, okay? And I'm just saying I would not be surprised at all, because look, what has been the normal way protocol is when it comes to MVP voting? Best player on best team, right? That is why obviously LeBron is a huge favorite.
And that is not Kyrie.
Okay, I got you. However, I could see a scenario where somebody said, especially if Kyrie is averaging like 27 a game, I mean, I could easily see a scenario where there are some votes that go his way. Maybe the majority go to LeBron. Maybe it's Russell Westbrook. It depends on where everybody finishes. But if the Cavs have the best record, let's say they have the best record in the league, I'd love to see how this all shapes up. Remember what I said. Kyrie Irving is going to get some MVP votes. Remember what I said.
And those voters should be investigated.
People
think that it's a crime that LeBron has not been the MVP every year.
And it was kind of funny because he was campaigning for himself.
Exactly.
But
he was being nice.
Hold up. I want people to be clear.
Yeah, what?
I would not vote for Kyrie Irving. So don't be tweeting me and all that.
But you wouldn't be surprised.
I would not be surprised if he got some votes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
so I don't want to see any ESPN.com headlines that say Jamel Hill said Kyrie Irving is the MVP of the Cavs. I did not say that.
That is a woman's argumental handbook in a nutshell. Let me qualify it enough so I can come back and say I told you so. Former Colt and for a cup of coffee Patriot wide receiver and now NFL Network analyst Reggie Wayne says that despite completing 73% of his passes for 330 yards a game and 12 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 134 QB rating, there's no way Tom Brady can be the MVP because he was caught cheating this year, Wayne says. Now, is this bitterness on the part of an ex-Indianapolis Colt, or does Reggie Wayne make a valid point?
Can it be both?
No.
It can't be both. It has to be one
I
or
asked
the
you
other.
either or. Yep.
Well,
I'm just kidding. You say whatever you want.
Well, I plan to do that. I think obviously with him being a former Colt, yes, you could accuse him of being a little bit biased and seeing this a little in more harsher terms. But I guess I tried to step back and just really consider everything that he's saying. Now, Tom Brady, as far as I'm concerned, he was done wrong. He never should have sat those 4 games. And I think it was Roger Goodell and other NFL ownership that, not the Patriots, obviously, that were so jealous of the Patriots' success, tired of the Patriots being in a conversation about, skirting the rules or taking advantage of certain situations, that they all geeked up Roger Goodell to go get one of the league's best player, if not the best player, depending on how you see things. Putting all that aside, I had to think, like, if this were another player, if this was someone else, would this be such an easy walk? Because technically, and I think I understand the logic behind Reggie Wayne's point is that, ultimately, regardless of what you may have thought of the investigation, regardless of what you may have thought of the seriousness of the infraction, he did sit 4 games. That was a suspension based off him sort of violating the spirit of competition in the NFL. Those are the facts of the case.
And they are undisputed.
And they are undisputed. And so I understand why he would say that just from a purely objective standpoint. I do not agree, but I sort of get the logic.
You get the logic that he took himself off the field in the first place through either his own actions, at least being generally aware, according to the Wells report, or his failure to cooperate and comply with the investigation. I got it. But it's still ridiculous, with all due respect to home team. And I put on for Reggie Wayne for a long time, my New Orleans homeboy. But here's the thing. I said this before. If no advantage was gained by Tom Brady, assuming he had knowledge of the scheme to deflate footballs. If no advantage was gained, it stands to reason that perhaps no advantage was sought in the first place. And you said from jump, credit to you, from jump, day one, there was never any amount of definitive proof that Tom Brady either ordered somebody to tamper with the footballs or had knowledge of somebody to tamper with the footballs. There was nothing airtightness, no pun intended. In the second half of the Colts game, he went 12 of 14. In the Super Bowl against Seattle, he went 37 of 50 for 4 touchdowns. Last year, he threw 36 touchdowns and 7 picks. This year, 12 touchdowns, no picks. Nobody's talking about PSI. In fact, last year, the NFL wouldn't even release the findings of the PSI investigation because they knew good and damn well that if they did, it would prove that the ideal gas law had more validity than they let on to. Okay, so they never even talked about it. So I understand that if you want to compare it to, say, performance enhancers, you're disqualified, I believe, from NFL honors or the Pro Bowl if you're suspended for performance enhancers. Brady was suspended this year, not for something he allegedly did this year, but in the past. He just happened to serve the suspension this year because he appealed it. And he was ultimately suspended, as we all know, because of Article 46, not a scheme to deflate footballs. So when you're this good, and you're so good that even if your team is good enough to go 3-1 without you, you make them the prohibitive Super Bowl favorite. And with all due respect to Matt Ryan and Derek Carr, when you're this good, and presumably they're checking the pounds per square inch, you cannot keep him from winning MVP just because the rest of the league had an axe to grind with him last year and the year before.
Yeah, I mean,
he's proved that it doesn't matter what the ball, how heavy the balls are.
It's one of those things where do you go by what is the letter of the law, like what's technically on his record, or what we all know, see, and some of the other facts?
I see 12 touchdowns and no picks and 70%.
Yep.
And 134 quarterback rating.
I agree. Well, things certainly escalated quickly in Minnesota. A few weeks ago, Norv Turner was an offensive dynamo, and today he's unemployed. He resigned as the Minnesota offensive coordinator as the Vikings are in the midst of a 2-game slide. Now, Pat Shurmur, he'll be the interim offensive coordinator, and I believe Norv has put out a statement about what happened, or to some degree what happened. I have tremendous respect for Mike Zimmer, our coaching staff, and our players. And at this time, I think it is in the best interest of the team to step down. I thank the Wilk family for my time here in Minnesota and want to see our players and coaches achieve success. Well, we all know when coordinators
might come at you fast.
It does. When coordinators start being fired.
Or resign, yeah.
Yeah, resign, or when they leave. However you want to characterize it, usually means the ship be sinking, huh?
I don't know. I don't know if it's any worse. If they're any worse off today than they were yesterday. We talked about them getting cooked by Jay Cutler on defense, which Norv Turner has nothing to do with that.
Or the fact that they can't protect Sam Bradford, which Norv Turner doesn't have anything to do with that.
Or open running lanes. I mean, the personnel is the personnel. I think we got caught up in identify this as a good team as opposed to a good story, given the coaching job Mike Zimmer was doing to keep this ship afloat without Adrian Peterson and without Matt Khalil and without Teddy Bridgewater and getting Sam Bradford in there on short notice. It was a good story. They're a flawed team. But I'm a firm believer in addition by subtraction. And Mike Zimmer spoke a few minutes ago. He was surprised. There was no talk about this.
Sam Bradford said the same thing. He was surprised and didn't see it coming.
Yeah, Sam Bradford was surprised. There's some reported tension among the coaching staff. Look, I know Norv Turner. I like him. I have tremendous respect for the body of work that he's put forth over decades in the NFL. Even his son Scott. I like his son Scott.
On the staff.
He's still on the staff. I think so. Now it's Pat Shurmur, Tony Sperano. They got some experienced coaches. They were 31st in the league. I don't think this resignation is going to make them go to 32nd. They were averaging 15 points a game. I don't think they all of a sudden average 13. They got bigger problems than Norv Turner. And if he wasn't part of the solution, it wasn't trying to be a part of the problem, and if everybody wasn't pulling in the same direction, or, to keep with the pun, rowing in the same direction, he had to go, no matter what your resume is.
Yeah, and I guess maybe if he felt like the tension and all the other things, conflicts, were preventing him from maybe doing the best job that he could do, he just said, you know what? I'm not helping here. I mean, he's a vet. I mean, he's been in the NFL forever. He's seen many of these tense situations. So he probably knew, okay, I'm not exactly aiding this team right now. They're probably
it's a dysfunctional
environment, and losing does that. I mean, it's not a surprise there's tension on the coaching staff when Sam Bradford has been sacked 11 times in the last 2 games. They're running everybody, Joe Blow, their mama, whoever else, running in and out of the offensive line. Yes, there's going to be some problems there. But I guess usually when people do this, where there's a resignation or a firing, then you think that they were somehow the problem. And I guess that's why I was sort of confused by, yes, you may not be the solution necessarily, and I understand there's a small but significant difference, but it wasn't on Norv Turner. So I guess I'm just struggling to see, like, how, if he wasn't hurting them, how does this actually help them?
That remains to be seen. Dave, would you just tell me about it? Would you say that again, Dave? Sam Bradford found out because his wife got an alert on her phone.
See, that's what I'm saying, is that, okay,
wow.
A lot of times when we see teams like completely fall apart, it's like the players, maybe they stop believing in certain things. So somebody's resigning that if he hadn't lost the trust of the players, then it's kind of like, well, why?
I don't know. Something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you can't be a part of it, then maybe everybody's better off. Again, addition by subtraction,
sometimes it can be a good thing.
Sometimes it's a good thing.
Join me, Linda Cohn, on the SportsCenter podcast with Herm Edwards and Joe Banner. Find out when the Cowboys should make the change from Dak Prescott to Tony Romo, and why Matty Ice is a legit MVP candidate. Click the Listen tab on ESPN.com.
Warriors got right last night. So Steph, 2 for 9 with 4 turnovers in the first half, went on to outscore the Blazers 23-20 in the third. Steve Kerr said he told Steph he looked like Riley Kerr in the first half in terms of his attention span.
Right. Yeah, no, you know what the most noticeable difference in this game versus
defense?
the defense. They were back to kind
Dame
of.
Lillard talked about it. And
yeah, I think he might have
Mm-hmm.
poked the bear a little bit, and they were deflecting passes. They were everywhere. They were energized, enthused.
Ethan Sherwood Strauss called it selective selfishness by Steph last night. I like that. Yep. So the Warriors reportedly not happy when asked about LeBron's Halloween 3-1 troll job. While Steph laughed it off, Klay said, "Man, I don't care about that." And I think he said, "I don't get it. I'm not dead."
Right.
And then Draymond added, "I'm just going to keep quiet. More power to them. I've already got enough fuel. I don't need more. Enjoy." Yes, we are enjoying
I am enjoying this. Keep trolling them Cavaliers.
I told you LeBron should have changed his name in 3-1 or changed his number to 31.
3-1, right?
3-1, exactly.
No, I hope they keep trolling
LeBron,
them.
what you have for breakfast? 3-1.
I hope the Warriors.
LeBron, how's the family? 3-1.
I hope the Warriors keep responding in kind because this is what rivalries are all about. Look, they got one up on you for the moment. I know you're both sort of 1-1 in this series of, going at it for a championship. That's why I want to see a rubber match, to see who is able to say, hey, we got 2, you got 1.
And there's certainly the issue the year before where the Cavs feel like if they'd have been at full strength then,
correct,
they'd have 2.
So hopefully everybody's at full.
Last year the Warriors feel like Draymond got suspended. Everybody got excuses.
So hopefully everybody's there, everybody's accounted for, and we get to see another epic finals.
If they weren't annoyed or reportedly irked, I'd be disappointed.
I would be disappointed. And the best way to stop that from happening is you have to shut them up in June. You got to make it to June, but you got to shut them up in June once you get there, right? That's usually the way this goes.
Yep.
That's how you shut down trash talk. But, while we're on the subject of Warriors, how could we not go without having a conversation about KD and Russ? Don't know if you know this, but we're a day away from Russ and KD having their first regular season meeting since KD went to the Warriors in the offseason. So let's psychoanalyze their relationship once again. KD sat down with USA Today's Sam Amick, and when asked if there was really beef between the two, he had this to say: "It just shows you the way of the world right now, like a beef. Bro, I don't beef with nobody. I've seen beefs go the wrong way. We've all seen it the wrong way, real life wrong way. So you can't say beef around me. I'm not into I did. I'm not into no basketball beef where me or Russ comes from. Beef, you don't just throw that word around like that. We have a miscommunication going on between a lot of people, a lot of assumptions. You can say that, but a beef, nah. There ain't no beef, man."
He went biggie on him.
He did.
Beef is when
What's
your mom
beef?
ain't safe up
Right?
in the streets. Beef is when I see you.
But
so wait, he did a USA Today article or interview too? Okay, I saw the Anthony Slater one.
Okay.
I thought that was an exclusive, but he had a lot of great things to say in that one too. That's where he said that we were brothers. We are brothers.
We are brothers, and about how he'd invite him to the wedding.
Exactly. He'd invite him to the wedding even if he didn't come. He'd invite him to his Hall of Fame induction even if he didn't come. So, okay, he had a lot to say yesterday.
Yeah, he did. Although increasingly, KD's talking about this obviously more than Russ. Russ is acting like KD never existed.
I told you.
To some degree. I know some of that is a bit of a front, but okay. do what you do, because Russ has always been that way with other players on other teams. But sometimes just hearing him and seeing Russ's entirely opposite reaction, it's like how kids feel when they see their parents fight. Like, ooh, this is somewhat uncomfortable that all this is playing out before us. Now, it's on us in the media because we keep asking. KD keeps.
And we're the kids in this analogy?
Yeah, I think so.
I like that.
Yeah,
you know what children are supposed to do? Stay in a child's place.
stay out of grown folks' business.
So,
yes,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Speak when spoken to. That said, I'm not saying we're children, but I'm saying we could probably start to mind our own business at this point, because there were some things he said that actually did resonate with me in the Anthony Slater Bay Area News Group interview. And that's when he was like, you can't tell me what type of person I was with Russell or what type of person he was with me. They don't have a clue, DJ Khaled. They don't know. So how can they say that? And he's right. I mean, like, we're going off of assumptions, what we read, what we interpret, what we infer,
well, a lot of
or
it too
what's implied.
or what we saw last year. I mean, I think we have to understand, just as viewers and as media, that just because you see two guys who do the things that they were able to do on the court and what they accomplished together, and for that matter, even in press conferences, that doesn't necessarily mean they're best friends.
Right.
And he has pointed out
they were at different places
they just
in
in different places in their lives, and I don't think we recognize or realize that.
Well, what he's basically saying is this was business, not personal. So it's nothing personal. I don't have any hatred personally toward Russell Westbrook, which I'd also respond and say, well, why would you? You're the one that bounced. You made a decision that was best for you. You left the relationship. You broke up with him. To me, if I were Russell Westbrook, me, Michael Smith, I'm not, but if I were Russell Westbrook, I'd be like, get this, we ain't partners, we ain't brothers, and we ain't friends. And the next time you see me on this court, you're going to be sorry you ever met me. Because if he tried to extend his hand to me or hug me tomorrow night, nah, player.
No?
Nah, player.
Why?
Because if we were such brothers, you don't text me and tell me you leaving. I don't find out from an alert on my phone. Like, you tell me, like, and this is what you have said. You have said this, and many others have said they were so close.
The way he did it, and he even said that
he said he understands it, exactly.
He said that the same way, but he should have handled it differently.
But and the idea was like, well, they're looking to build up this matchup. We don't have to do anything. You went to go to state. We don't have to do anything to build up this
Whether y'all were close or not close, it was going to be built up regardless.
He also said that, for a long time that people have been trying to tear them apart, and that made me think of you. So you got your wish.
That wasn't.
They tried to separate us. I circled it and wrote Jamel.
But here's the thing, though. Yeah. Can he tell me I was wrong? Is he not on another team?
Not because they weren't working well together. They were
if they were working the greatest together, wouldn't he still be there?
If not for injuries and other circumstances, maybe they would have gotten over the hump. It wasn't because Russ was holding him back.
I feel like I won that.
No, you didn't. No.
Is he still playing for Oklahoma City?
We'll never know, because we'll never know.
No, we do know. He's not there.
We don't know that it was a failure. We know that they didn't complete the job.
I didn't call it a failure. What I said was, I don't think these two are meant to be together for long. So obviously, I'm right.
No,
thank you.
No,
we're moving on. Case closed. No, start rolling the video.
Roll the video. Okay, all right.
College football lives here. LSU is 3-0 since Ed Orgeron took over as head coach, and they've averaged over 41 points in those 3 wins.
LSU has a significant lead late.
Up next, the number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide storms into Death Valley for a huge SEC showdown Saturday night.
Fumble! Alabama's got the football!
Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
All right, we're going hard in the paint. I just want to put Boogie Cousins in a prayer circle. I really do. He didn't record a foul through the first 3 quarters of last night's game against the Heat. Fouled out in the 4th quarter. All 6 fouls
obviously.
in the 4th.
Yeah.
All 6.
Yeah.
Tied an NBA record, as you said. Also picked up his 3rd tech of the season last night.
Wow.
Still finished with 30 points, though, and 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block. You know what? I feel like when Boogie's on the Olympic team, it's like he's at home, right?
Olympic Boogie.
Getting home training,
right?
Going to bed on time. And then when he comes back to the Kings, it's like he's at the neighbor's house or the friend's house who has no home training and whose parents let them do whatever they want.
Right, and bad habits run deep.
And bad habits run deep. It's like, well, first of all, half of these fouls were garbage, especially the 6th foul. Like, it was just, at this point, he's become a target by the officials.
No doubt.
And I can't say he didn't make that bed, but it's just a shame to see somebody this talented
can't get right.
He's
Between him and Anthony Davis, and I love New Orleans, you know that, but I don't know which Kentucky big man I want freed more. Ben Simmons is clearly excited to be freed from the clutches of the NCAA. This is a Showtime sports documentary called One and Done. It airs Friday. He says the NCAA is really up. Everybody's making money except the players. We're the ones waking up early as hell to be the best teams and do everything they want us to do, and then the players get nothing. They say education, but if I'm there for a year, I can't get much education. Simmons also called academics pointless for one-and-done players. I can't stand the one-and-done rule, personally.
No, I don't.
I never did like it.
Well, see, what bothers me more, and I often say this to some of our other analysts who put on for college, Kirk Herbstreit, Danny Cannell, and I understand what college meant for them and how they feel about it, is that it's the lack of choice. See, he doesn't have to. He has to go to school.
And he playing school. Like,
and
why even make him play school? And then be surprised when they say academics are pointless.
It's the reason why I said if I were Leonard Fournette, I would have pieced out on this season and went to work out all year. It's like, it's the lack of choice.
Different in football. Football they ain't gonna never do that.
I know.
They ain't gonna come right out of high school.
I got it.
Yeah,
but it's not having your choice.
Right.
It's that your choice is being taken away by somebody else. Like, if you choose to not make the money and go to college, that's one thing.
And the college crowd will say, oh, they get these stipends and these cost of living things. That still ain't enough relative to the value that they carry.
Speaking of college, let me just rant. I know it's week 1, Mike. I know what you're going to say. All right? Week 1, college football rankings, they were released, and surprisingly, they found out a way in the first week to anger me by putting Texas A&M in the 4th spot over unbeaten Washington. Bama, Michigan, Clemson, there's your 1, 2, 3. Why? For what? For who? And I said I wasn't going to be suckered into this.
So why are you?
Because I just can't help it. I just cannot help it.
Can't help just be upset about
Washington
nothing?
hasn't lost, and I get the strength of record against their opponents is different, but they smashed Stanford, which I think is really impressive. All right? It's like they're giving Texas A&M credit because they hung with Alabama for a half. Like, why? Just why?
So let me ask you a question. In 2014, who were the first college football playoff rankings? Do you remember?
Yeah, I don't remember. That's not the point. You focused on the wrong thing.
Who were the 2015 first rankings last year?
I don't remember.
Exactly.
That's not the point either.
Exactly. No, it is.
I need to be mad right now.
You know what you're doing? You're feeding the beast. You're feeding the beast. Because somewhere they're saying, thank you. Continue talking about these pointless power rankings that we release every Tuesday.
That's why I didn't want them anyway, because I knew this would happen. I just can't help
fodder.
myself.
All it is fodder. You and I both know if an undefeated Power 5 conference champion
I know if they
with the conference championship, they're going to be in.
Okay.
They're going to be in.
All right, it wasn't just about Washington.
The playoffs don't start today.
What about Louisville?
I'm upset that you're upset. I'm not even really upset. I don't care. But we wasted time in the show. We could have talked about some valuable stuff.
This is bigger than Bino Brown.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
It's just about, like, how did they get, like, right out the gate? Right out the gate. Yeah, I care.
If you're
Tupac cares and don't nobody else care.
If you're Washington, you're probably happy right now. You're probably like, you know what?
Oh, they should be. I agree.
Ohio State came from 16th. Oklahoma came from 15th at this time.
I understand.
Now. You know better.
And
you know how the game
and if you're Washington, I'm sure that this is something their coaching staff is using as fodder, to borrow your word, to say, hey, look at what they think about you. They don't respect you. Come out there and show them something.
Power rankings, that's all this is, man.
It doesn't matter. Like, get it right. This isn't right.
It doesn't matter.
No.
You had it right the first time.
It doesn't
It matter.
It matters somewhere. Let's look at the opposite of relationship goals. All right. This couple enjoying a late night swim. You see a 6-foot crocodile jumps in the water.
They're in Zimbabwe?
They're in Zimbabwe at a lodge. My man jumps out, leaves his girl to fend for herself, and then he tries to come back like, you good? You okay? I'm going to give this woman some unsolicited advice. You need to end this right now. You need to leave.
He came back.
No, that was a late comeback, Mike.
He came back.
He was like, yeah, that's right.
He came back.
Walked all the way around.
Self-preservation is the first law of nature.
Ladies, you know as well as I do. In that situation,
I bet old boy would have done the same thing. You know why?
Be the last conversation we have.
Go ahead. Finish talking to the ladies. I'm going to school you on
You going to school me on the actual factual and the realities of things?
Go ahead.
So we all know that in those situations, in adversity, in extreme stress, how the person you're with acts tells you a lot about them. Crocodile jumps in, and he just leaves me.
You ever seen Romance in the Stone?
Yeah.
You'll be handless.
So it's like that. And look, I realize there's levels to this. Like, their girlfriend, boyfriend don't know how serious they are.
Bam.
Okay.
So that's where it stops as far as I'm concerned, okay? Because, all right, I mean, come on, man. Martin taught us this, okay? Girlfriend, did he say, I love you? Questions that need answering. If he said, I love you, then okay, you might be onto something because of expectation.
Now, if that's just somebody you're kicking it with,
right?
I'll give you the
Because as Martin
house.
said, when you say you love them, they be expecting you to die for them. Go, girl, go! Go, girl, go!
I loved it at you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I loved you.
Throw down your wallet.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
I got you.
You understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
But if they are not married, that instinct has not kicked in yet. See, me, I would.
You left your wife to fend for herself.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Bat.
Wait, what?
Didn't you leave her to fend for herself with a bat? Didn't the bat?
Yo, man, why you stay putting my business in the street? I told you that on camera.
You told people
I ain't never told nobody that on TV, man. I don't like bats.
Okay.
Bats frighten me.
And so?
I want man and Mrs. Share my dread. Bats frighten me. So yes, there was a bat. This okay, but wait. We weren't married at the time. We wasn't married.
But what,
we was dating.
Andrew said, I love you.
I don't remember. I probably did. I probably did. But we were dating at the time, and a bat was flying around, and I didn't leave it to my wife. I left it to my brother-in-law because he was, I just don't deal with bats. That's okay. I still got her. I'm still here. Now I would do it. Now I take care of business in my house. And plus, I was shacking up with her. I'm sorry. It was her house. So technically, I was not obligated to deal with this bat. In my house, the one I pay for, yes, I deal with the bet.
But not before.
We weren't married then. And even though Jason Day damn near let his wife get decapitated by LeBron.
But in-house all good. They don't defend it from the back.
They moved out. They moved on and she's okay. But it happens. It happens. We see it all the time in sports. My man, LeBron coming at you got to slide over.
No.
Thankfully, she was okay. She got wheeled off on a stretcher, but she was okay. But it was like it happened like that. But they still happily married as far as we know. A couple of baseball games, you see foul balls go at people. It's just an instinct. It's a reflex.
And your instinct is to sacrifice me.
Not my instinct.
Like we both don't have to die. One of us got to live to tell the story.
I would jump in front of the foul ball for you. If that was me, hypothetically
not to believe you on this.
If I saw a crocodile coming at you, I would protect you. I would do that for you.
Appreciate that.
I would.
All right.
I would. Definitely for my wife, my kids, it's an instinct. It kicks in after the fact. But if he didn't tell her, we don't even know how far they go in this relationship. How far have they gone? Does he love her? Was it a National Lampoon situation where he just met her and they decided to go for a skinny dip? Who knows?
If they're just kicking it, he reserves the right to be like,
it's a crocodile.
I'll tell your parents.
He came back, though. It ain't like he just broke out. I hope she all right.
I know.
Hope she didn't get hit.
He came back after it looks sort of safe.
Maybe you need to look at her for now.
She had the two-piece of crocodile and he coming in on the late show.
But wait, time out. But she ain't moved quick enough.
That's on her.
If a crocodile jump in the water, everybody get out the water.
Okay, she was trying. She was also a further away because the crocodile, he saw it, he jumped out, and the crocodile swam directly for her.
Roll that video one more time.
And then
so wait, you tell me if shots break out right now, I got to grab you first, be like, Jamel, let's go. No, we gonna both start breaking because instinct, we just gonna run. Right?
Well, yeah,
exactly.
We would both run.
Yes.
But if I trip to something, you're not gonna come back. See, look, okay. He jumps out.
Get out the water.
He jumps out.
Get out the water.
And she is trying.
She went the long way. She went the long way.
And then you go, you know what?
My man got better reflexes than her.
You know what that's like? That's like when Ray Lewis used to jump on the pile after the tackle made.
He came back. He came back.
Exactly
he was ready to throw down with the crocodile.
No, he was not.
Yes, he was.
If he would have jumped in the water, if that was the case, he wasn't ready. She had the two-piece of crocodile to get it off her.
Agree to disagree.
Whatever. That's a relationship non-goal. Hope you broke up with him.
I bet. Well, let me holler at old boy. See what he would do.
See, he would protect me because I know.
He told you he loved you.
Exactly.
Ms. Denise, why I got to be full of it? Why? I would save your daughter.
I believe him, he would. Let's start off, though, with this DTM countdown with Patriots defensive end Chris Long.
How much do you love playing with Tom Brady?
I love it a lot. Me and Tom go way back, bub. You know, we've been friends a long time. That's why he gets me the rock when it matters.
Do you feel like you're playing bigger this year than you have in the past?
Yeah, you know, I lifted a lot. You know, I spent my off season in Muscle Beach. I did a lot of sit-ups in the park. And you can see it when I'm blocking. You know, I move people. I do everything.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Who are you, man?
Gotta love those Long brothers, man. So he downloaded a photo of Julian Edelman, placed a custom order for the mask to be made. Been
like some
this for 2
Mission
weeks.
Impossible stuff,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, part two. Exactly. Yeah.
I will say this, Julian Edelman, one of the nicest guys. I was on a flight with him a while ago, and it was some young ladies I was sitting next to that saw him, and they wanted to meet him, and I asked him if he would mind, and he was like, sure.
That's awesome.
Met him, took pictures with him, very good guy.
You know what Candy said? Well, we should play each other next Halloween.
I think that's kind of a good idea.
Off?
I could imitate you an entire show. I know I could.
I don't know if I want to see that.
The Florida Marlins AA affiliate, Jacksonville Suns, they changed their franchise name to the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. For why?
Barbecue shrimp?
Confused emoji.
Jumbo shrimp?
He said the biggest reason, Ken Babby said the biggest reason to do so was to create synergy with the fans in the marketplace. I mean, I like chicken. I don't want my team to be named the Detroit Chickens.
I love shrimp, though. Or maybe it's just the New Orleans in me, so I reject it.
You approve?
Too much. Seth Jordan used to do work for the Eagles back in the day. 3-time Pro Bowler said Zeke is better than Emmitt Smith.
The Emmitt Smith? The running back Hall of Fame Emmitt Smith.
That's the
most
one.
yards for a running back in NFL history.
That's the one.
Okay, I mean, I know how Michael Irvin feels about him, so what is it about Ezekiel Elliott that conjures such strong emotions in people?
Similarity. Both really, really, really good running backs who ran behind really good offensive line. One of them did it for like 20 years.
Yeah. Let's just wait till he gets out of year one, all right?
Boy, Black Mamba hosted an event, introduced his latest signature sneaker, the Kobe AD, as in after death.
Like death?
Like death. I'm going to hit it and I'm going to die? No, you're not going to be able to hear. Post-retirement, she was like morbid. You know, it was on the Day of the Dead.
Ooh.
And they like candles, and it was like a casket. It was like, you know, music playing. It was interesting.
Okay.
Putting all that creativity into these types of things. I might buy the shoe.
Might buy it, all right.
It's a night for air balls.
Man.
Players mess up. even LeBron, according to you, the second best player on the Cavaliers.
Don't
LeBron. Yeah, that's what you said.
I did not
you
say
said
that.
he wasn't the most valuable player on the whole team. You said Kyrie. Lebron, Joe Kim. That ain't your range, player. That ain't your range.
This is my dog. I love him.
Was the shot clock running now?
I think that's the worst shot.
So
that's
LeBron had 2 air balls.
Seen.
He had a free throw line air ball and a layup. Rudy Gay is like, you know, it happens. You know, sometimes we swing in this.
Yeah, I get it.
I would save you.
I know.
I would save you.
You sure?
I
feel like I would save you before you save me.
That's not true. Why you got to sit up there?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Mom. He would do that.
Man.
Oregon brings an offense averaging over 40 points per game into the Coliseum to face the red-hot USC Trojans. Coverage begins Saturday at 6:30 Eastern on